Hey everybody, it's Paula Nutting, your musculoskeletal specialist / therapist. And today is all about COVID. And I'm happy to have Anne Williams, who's really kind of like in the massage realm, the expert in how we're kind of delivering our COVID treatments to our clients. So Anne has got so much more than that very snippet of experience. She's has been involved in teaching programs for the ABMP, former registered counsellor, former esthetician, certified reflexologist, clinical hypnotherapist. So I'm watching you. Don't you do anything to me. And author and educator. So welcome, Anne.
Thank you so much for having me. It's really fun. I've always wanted to go to Australia. So here I am. I'm in Australia now. It's a bucket list. Check.
Yeah. Congratulations.
Yeah, but there's no way your country is letting my people in at this point.
No.
Us Americans, we have to stay home because we've been very, very bad. And we have not managed COVID-19 very effectively.
Well, I know. Isn't it funny? Different countries perform differently. In Australia, we're like we're so chilled and relaxed, and they say you have to stay inside. We go, well, we've got a barbecue on the veranda. We can cook up. We can just watch Netflix. We can relax. You guys have kind of like there's so many more of you, but why do you think it is that some countries behave differently to other countries?
I think that no one has really known what this is or what we're facing. And so even the World Health Organization, the U.S. Center for Disease Control and Prevention, our governments, our state governments, we've been given a lot of misinformation. And instead of being really honest, I think, with the American people and saying, nobody really knows, this is what we think, this is what we think you should do, there's been a lot of, just forget that we told you that, now we're telling you this. And I think that there hasn't been that upfront honesty, trusting that the public can really step up to the challenges of COVID, which I believe they can. I've watched our American massage professionals be incredibly responsible about learning everything they can about COVID, really having amazing conversations, asking really good questions, and saying, how do I proceed? How do I go forward in a way that, first of all, keeps my clients safe, keeps me safe, keeps my family safe? So I think it's just been all over the place. And in the United States, I'm not sure how it is in Australia. Every single state almost runs itself. So we have this very decentralized government in some ways. And you've seen some states handle things very effectively and other states sort of struggle.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. We're learning as we go. We're going to have to just keep evolving. And I remain hopeful and loving. And I think it's really important that we don't shame and blame each other, but that we hold really respectful conversations with one another around why we believe what we do, where we're getting our information, where are the limits of our knowledge, where are we afraid, like kind of owning your fear and being vulnerable and heartfelt about that fear, as opposed to shut off and defensive with that fear.
I
think the massage profession here is handling things very appropriately, with a lot of caution and a lot of respect and care for one another.
And that's part of why I've asked you to come on board, because you've written a document specifically for massage therapists. It's an online, really interactive. And can you explain, because we've got, in Australia, we've kind of safe, but we're expecting a second wave and a third wave. And right now, Victoria is just in the start of the second wave, where they're getting anywhere between 40 and 75 new cases a day. So they will be shut down again, those massage therapists. So for all therapists that are out there, can you talk us through the book? How does it work?
Okay. So what we did is, my husband, Eric Brown, and I wrote a couple of textbooks, and those textbooks, the publisher discontinued their massage therapy line. So a number of authors in the United States got these textbooks back that most of them have been for foundational education in massage therapy. I have 2 books that came back to me, and I knew I didn't want to publish in the traditional way. I wanted to publish in a way that was more interactive, more engaging. I wanted to use multimedia elements. I sort of have an instructional design philosophy that's hear it, see it, play with it, own it. You know, you have to really be engaged with content. It can't be passive. Most students don't read their textbooks, so there was no point in me putting a lot of work into printing something that people would use as a doorstop.
That's so true. Oops. We just got you on the wobbles a bit right now. The connection's not completely clear. So can you just repeat that last bit after doorstop?
Yeah, so I really believe that we can do something that's more engaging, that's more fun and more interactive. So interestingly, I had been working on a textbook for this digital platform, and we had not planned to release any textbooks until 2021. But I had written this whole brand new section on preventing disease transmission in a massage practice. And Eric said, why don't we release that to the massage profession? Everybody's going to need a refresher on this when states lift stay-at-home orders. And I was like, I'd love to do that. So we sort of went into high gear, and I started to write about COVID. And that was also a way, as a writer, I'm a writer, I write every day. That's how I live. And as a writer, it felt so good to just research it and find out everything that I could. It gave me this sense that I at least could have control over my own life, if not all of these things that were happening to all of us. So it was a way for me to process what was happening to us. So I wrote a chapter on COVID, and I have updated it, which is the beauty of a digital textbook. Once something's in print, it's in print for 5 years.
Oops.
We just don't have a great connection, do we?
How is it? It's kept for 5 years. Is that what you said? Once it's in print?
Well, once a textbook's in print, typically it takes around 5 years to sell out your print run.
Okay.
So you can't change anything. But I literally change our textbook or the COVID chapter every single week. And that's the way that I can ensure that the conversation stays relevant. So it becomes a fluid living document. I spent almost all of last week updating because the CDC here sort of just arrived around COVID. They sort of went, okay, we can nail down some of these things now. We're not so nebulous because we know a little bit more. So that was really helpful, but it meant a really big task to sort of update. But I love it. I don't mind, because it's thrilling to know that your material's up to date. And that's something that's always troubling as a textbook author, when you have this printed book you're holding and somebody points out to you that you misspelled musculoskeletal, and you're like, oh God, no.
I know. I've just gone through version 6 of my Chapman's manual, like this morning, going through and going like, fix this bit and fix that, but because there's with more research and more evidence on, it's just say even the polyvagal system, I'm going, oh well, okay, update, but it's online and it's mine, so I can actually, I know what you mean.
You can update it, you can evolve it, and that feels really good. The work doesn't control you, you control the work a little bit more. So we ended up with this product. We launched it on it was April 28th, and we just started sharing it on social media, and social media went wild. It got shared like almost 600 times the initial post, which is really incredible for the massage profession here. People were sharing it, they were accessing it. We were getting all this immediate feedback. It was pretty exciting for me because people were really responding to the format, this much more interactive format. It's visually very rich. We have lots of learning games, so it's more fun. And it's been a ride. to just keep that chapter updated on COVID and continue to learn and to speak with lots of massage therapists.
Yeah.
It makes me feel very connected to my international community, because I've definitely spoken to the Irish Association and to the UK, Australia, New Zealand,
Yeah.
so, and Canada. So it's really fun. It's really been fun.
And therapists can get that just by
It's
going
free.
on the link and go for free. So what we'll do is we'll put in that link down here, and I'll also throw it around in a few places on Facebook and LinkedIn, the link in LinkedIn.
Yeah, thank you.
What is the link?
It's massagemastery.online is the website.
That's super easy. Massage
Yeah.
Mastery.
.online. That's the name of my original textbook. So we're using that name.
So what other textbooks? I mean, obviously this is a free and amazing and very, very relevant, but what other stuff have you got in the background? You must have some other things looming that you can possibly offer therapists if they want to continue their education that's not COVID.
So not right now. Our plan really wasn't to launch our textbook, our website, any of it until 2021. So we moved up our timeline pretty dramatically. And I'm working on a self-care for massage therapist, an interactive textbook right now, and also on an ethics textbook.
Wow.
So I'm kind of going between these two topics that really interest me. And I'm very much about the comprehensive piece. And one of the things that's nice about a digital textbook is people can really jump around. They don't have to, and you can jump around within the navigation. So you're never like flipping to the table of contents. You're literally just kind of clicking wherever you want to go, and you get there really quickly.
Yeah.
So I've been having fun just exploring, what does self-care look like right now? And it looks different than it's ever looked before for massage therapists. And it's kind of like you and I were talking about before we got online. Just we need to be more mindful. There's this whole sort of psychology of living that we can bring to our practice, that helps us sort of save our body, save our mental health, save our spirit, because we're all givers and we just give and give and give until we're completely exhausted or broken.
Yes, yeah, that's right. So it is making people, the therapists, kind of step back and reevaluate their value systems, and that can be really challenging. Like, it can be challenging at a deeper emotional level. We're seeing statistics of people that have been in isolation that are feeling depression. But what are your thoughts on therapists or touch therapists who aren't getting that opportunity to touch and levels of depression or anxiety?
I think we're all dealing with whatever this brings up in us, and I was just talking to a friend of mine yesterday, and he is just absolutely rabid about protecting his mother, which I completely understand. His mother is here in Colorado, and he's here in Colorado. So he has been just socially isolating because he's so fearful of his mother getting sick, which I completely understand. My parents are in a different state, but I definitely feel like we all have this anxiety for one another. I can't protect you. I can't protect my boss that I love. I can't protect my husband or even my kids at this point. Like, we're all just in this together. And the very best thing we can do, and the very hardest thing, and isn't that always the case? The right thing and the hardest thing are often the same thing. Is stay isolated and find other ways to connect with the people we love. But when touch is your language, what a heart-wrenching scenario we're in.
I know, that's right.
And I think, like many massage therapists, like a lot of the states are lifting their stay-at-home orders, and massage therapists can go back to work in many places if they want to. But like Australia, we never got through the first wave, and now the numbers are going up. The caseloads are going up again in every state. And I don't really think America's going to shut it down again. I think there's a little bit of fatalism that's kind of taking over the country, where it's like, I've had enough, I'll take my chances. And if you're over 65 or 65 or older, I'm just going to expect you to stay behind a glass wall until there's a vaccine. So it's this painful reckoning with what this means for older adults. What it means, we're going to end up with all of this survivor guilt, I think, that we haven't even started to think about. But
wow, yeah.
But for massage therapists, they're really asking themselves, like, what does it mean to be in a room, an enclosed space with someone who's not part of your family and touch them for 60 minutes? We know, I mean, while nobody is completely clear about how much viral load is, or how much like infectious dose you need, like, okay, take influenza, for example.
Yeah.
10 particles of influenza virus, and that's an infectious dose. You can get an infection from that. COVID is probably more infectious, meaning that it takes very small amounts of inhaled particle to have an infectious dose. And while nobody's completely clear on those metrics right now, it looks like close contact and very low infectious dose. That means a massage therapist who's not in an N95 or KN95 mask is probably at risk if they end up with an asymptomatic or pre-symptomatic client on the table. And one of the latest sort of updates on the Center for Disease Control and Prevention website here in the US, and this was just updated June 25th, so it's very new. One of the things we're talking about is, oh, did I just completely lose my train of thought? That very rarely happens to me unless I've had a glass of wine.
It's too early in the day for you. You're talking about that released on the 26th of June or the 25th. It's really recent, the information.
Yeah, some new information. And I was talking about infectious dose. So
masks.
What was the thinking? Oh, I don't know. It's completely gone, Paula.
That's
it's
right.
Completely gone.
So
this is a menopausal moment.
So therapists should be wearing a mask, but not just an ordinary old mask. They should get their clients to wear an ordinary old mask.
My suggestion would be that a client's in a disposable surgical face mask or better.
Yeah.
And that the therapist is wearing an N95 filtering face piece respirator, or in the event that they can't get a hold of one, or 5, because you actually need 5 to rotate them properly, then a KN95. And the KN95s are like an N95 respirator, and these filter 95% of the smallest airborne particles.
That's hence the 95. Okay, that makes sense.
They protect you from the smallest particles. So that's what you really want to be wearing in the close confines of a session room. Something that's really going to protect you. It's not just going to keep your viral load here. It's going to and prevent you from spewing it out there, but it's going to protect you from inhaling someone else's respiratory droplets.
Someone said if you're treating a client like this, say if they're in supine, your hands are here. If you're treating their neck and you're getting them to turn this way, even if you just turn your head that way, it would be sufficient. Do you think that that's irresponsible?
No. Yeah, I don't think that's true. I can't. Well, so I should just take a step back and say, I'm a massage therapist. I'm not an epidemiologist. So I just read the research and read the CDC and then try to interpret it based on what happens in a massage practice. But if you think about an infectious dose being 10 particles or potentially less, then we're talking about a client who is potentially asymptomatic or pre-symptomatic. They're not showing symptoms yet. And this was the information I was talking about earlier that I forgot. The CDC is saying now you are most infectious when you first get sick. Okay. And usually before you're showing symptoms. So when you're pre-symptomatic. So that means you've got a client on your table. They have no idea they're sick. You have no idea they're sick. They don't have a temperature. You've taken their temperature. You've done everything right. You've screened correctly, and it doesn't matter. You're still being exposed. And nobody knows how much viral load it takes right now or how much infectious dose, but it's not very much. So your client needs to be at least in a surgical face mask that will keep all of their respiratory particles to them. Now, lots of people are just walking around with a cloth bandana or something over their nose, and that's great and fine if you can maintain 6 feet of distance.
Yeah.
But I don't know any massage therapist whose arms are that long. And the other thing I would tell therapists, another really important point, is to ventilate your session room as much as possible. If you can keep windows open, if you can filter air through, if you can use a HEPA air filter, that's all ideal. The more ventilation, the better. And when the client leaves, flush it out, get a big industrial fan and just run that fan and circulate air through it so that you're really replacing the air.
Yeah, that's really
Some
good.
people have said,
comment.
wait a second, doesn't that mean that you are sort of dispersing potential COVID droplets everywhere? It does, but it also means that it's being diluted.
Yeah.
Any COVID particles are being diluted with a ton of air, and that's what you want, with a ton of sort of moving air.
Yeah. If a therapist you've got your patient that's coming, or massage, your client coming, it's quite difficult for them to wear a mask while they're prone, but
that's a big issue. Yeah.
What suggestions have you got for that?
So when a client's prone, so like if you think about respiratory droplets that are dispersed with a sneeze, those have a ton of force behind them. They fly a long distance. They can get picked up by air current and hang in the air for a long time. But the client's face down, that means their respiratory droplets are going down towards your carpet or towards your flooring. And there is some evidence that you can sort of agitate those, like when you're vacuuming, if you don't have a HEPA filter on your vacuum. So if you vacuum, make sure to keep your face mask on. And you should vacuum. When you vacuum, keep your face mask on. But one of the sort of solutions that people have sort of crowdsourced here is to just tuck a pillowcase between the firm face cradle sort of foam and the hard surface and create a hammock. And
that's
then
a great idea.
The hammock kind of catches, it's not up against the client's face, so they're not claustrophobic, but it's catching anything that they're exhaling. And then you're sort of just closing it and putting it into a plastic trash bag and sealing that trash bag until you launder it.
Great. Another question. I'm loving this because I love organic conversation. So we can treat right now. I leave my door open while I'm treating. Obviously, I've got all of the little extra doily, fluffy things off the table. It's just the table, like a table sheet that gets thrown each time, and the mask. And I'll be using the hammock. That's a great idea. Once they've gone, we've been using either something like these multi-purpose wipes, antibacterial. Glen 20, which is an antibacterial, 99.9% kills all. But this is a virus, and that's bacterial. Are we wasting our time?
No, probably not. Now, one of the things that is sort of reassuring is that John Williams University in St. Louis, here in the United States, did a number of studies with lots of different cleaning products. And as long as you're following manufacturer instructions, you don't need some specialized cleaning product. Most things kill it. Most of the things we typically use. And so I'll check that with you. Like in the United States, you have to use a disinfectant that has 70% alcohol or higher, or a hydrogen peroxide based, or a hypochlorite or chlorine base, which is a bleach based product. So you can do something. And one of the things that's interesting is when you look at contact times, like alcohol needs to sit wet on a surface for 11 minutes.
Oh, really?
to wipe out most pathogens, it has to be wet for a really long time. And I don't really know with hydrogen peroxide because I haven't used a lot of it. But with bleach, like with a hypochlorite wipe, I'm not saying do a bleach solution because it smells too strong and it's too dangerous to work with it. But you can get a Clorox bleach wipe that's hospital grade. You can wipe down a surface with it, and it literally only needs to be damp for 4 minutes to kill COVID dead. So that is your best bet. And with your massage table, your face cradle is the real concern because it's all around people's, we know, like they slobber on the face cradle cover, they get a snotty nose all over it. Yeah. I mean, it's wonderfully disgusting because they're just loving it. So it's good.
Yeah, they're drooling on the table.
Don't take that and wipe your face with it. That would be bad. So I think that face cradle, we really need to carefully clean it. And that means either cover it with some sort of a plastic protective cover so that you can wipe it down with a bleach-based wipe in between clients, and make sure you get all the surfaces of that really clean, and get a big plastic table protector to put over the surface of your table. Take off all the fluffy cloth stuff that we love and just keep it really simple. I say, you know, dejunk, decrease your sanitation burden. And just like you say, get things off of your table, because respiratory droplets can land on dust, and then when you're fanning and moving all the air around, they can be redispersed with the dust into the air and inhaled. So keep your places dust free. Like that big ceiling fan, get up there and dust it every other day. You know, keep dust away.
Yeah, isn't that interesting? We don't actually think about that, does it? And like I've got a few, you know, my frames with the courses and you know, record registration. So dust wipe at the top of all those.
Dust, keep it dust free. Yeah.
And 11 minutes for
alcohol.
Well,
an alcohol-based disinfectant. So you can get stronger disinfectants that are like, have combinations of things. But the really important thing is to read the fine print in the directions where it tells you how long to leave it on a surface. And one of the things we do a lot is we just don't leave things wet enough on surfaces for long enough when we're disinfecting. We're really like moving fast and we're changing over our room and
So what that says, because we have guidelines here in Australia, different associations are saying this is how long you should wait between your clients to give your rooms enough. And it's generally 30 minutes that they say, give that length of time. And I've been reading in some of the forums, people are going, oh, do you think I could knock it down to 15 minutes? I really want to, you know, bring my times down. Well, not if you're using alcohol. Like if you think you're going to leave that wet for 11 minutes, you can't be that's cutting everything too fine.
I did for the US therapists, and anybody in Australia can get hold of it too. Along with the textbook, I do 4 video safety trainings, and they're 30 minutes each. And the very last one is a session chronology. And it's because everything's sort of shifting, at least it is here. Your client arrival procedure is different. Your health screening procedure is different. All of the pre-session business is different. And then there's this big transition that you have to do. And the CDC is recommending that we change our clothes between clients because COVID can live on fabric for up to 2 hours. So everybody's buying sets of scrubs and then changing their clothes in between clients. So I think people here at least will need 30 minutes to make those transitions work. And you're also wearing this really claustrophobic, I shouldn't make it sound so horrible, this very protective mask that makes your face itch and sweat and gives you the sensation that all you're inhaling is carbon dioxide that you've just produced. So you need a break from it. You need to take it off and be able to sort of go outside and breathe some fresh air in between sessions.
Yeah, that's absolutely 100% on the money. I was going to ask you something about another relevant thing with therapists, and I've just had a seniors moment as well. It's so interesting when we unpack how we can treat. We've got a thing here that's mandatory on our phones. We downloaded that our government has said it's a COVID-19 app. So wherever we're traveling, we're actually can be traced. So if you and I are standing together and
wow,
I don't know you, but you end up with COVID, they can actually have a look and see if you're standing beside someone else that's in that area that they can then contact.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
Well, we're not doing contact tracing here. That goes to our state health department. But what we are recommending, or what I'm recommending, and I have no governmental authority whatsoever.
Good.
Yeah. Woo! I'm recommending that therapists just keep extremely good records of who's in their facility at any given time. And that at the end of week 1, that we're, first of all, encouraging our clients to contact us. If you test positive for COVID-19, or if you develop any symptoms, any health symptoms at all, would you call me so that I know? And then we're just recommending that should you get a call like that, you're calling your state health department for consultation about what to do next. But we're also calling your client back at the 1 week mark. I'm just calling in. This is Anne. Hi. Have you tested positive for COVID-19? I hope not, because that's going to be a lot of work. Or do you have any symptoms? Have you developed any symptoms I should be aware of? And then calling them at the 2 week mark. And then letting it go after that. And that way, if somebody does say, you know what, Anne, I have tested positive, I'm right on the phone with the health department saying, listen, I'm a massage therapist. I saw this client on this date. They have now tested positive. There were 3 people on the facility and 2 people who came after that client. What do you want us to do? And then also having clients sign off that they understand we'll be releasing their contact details to the state health department in the event that there is an outbreak at our facility.
Yeah, that's a really good point. We should, because Privacy Act, I don't know about in the States, but in Australia, we've got quite a strong Privacy Act that they would have to sign a waiver saying that we would be forwarding on that information.
I think the app is a great idea, and you should have your president call our president and suggest it.
No.
Fair enough.
I think you have enough trouble with us having Scott Morrison coming over there and telling you how to sink ships. Oh my God, there's so much information that is so relevant to therapists. Should therapists be scared?
I think they should be vigilant. That is the word I'm using. And if you're really scared, take one step back, offer 30-minute sessions, reduce your contact time, see 3 clients in a day and space them out so that you have lots of time to ventilate your facility. And don't feel pressured to go back. We're all financially pressured right now. That's a huge piece of it, is we haven't been working and we're all like, what are we going to do for income? So a lot of people are putting their fears aside because their fear of losing their house or their, kids' tuition money is more fearful than COVID. But I think we can be vigilant. I think we can take a whole lot of steps. And often in the US, people are saying to me, you're a fear monger. Like, you're telling us to be so careful. It's too much. It's way too much. And I keep saying, if in 3 months' time, we look back on this period and said, I was a little too clean, or I did a little too much laundry because I was a little too careful, but I'm alive, my grandma's alive, my daughter's alive, and my mom's alive, I think, and my dad too, I like him too. I think we're in the right spot then, and that's the right answer. So when people are like, this is too much, I'm like, this is our challenge, and we get to step into this challenge and be brave and courageous and do the right thing.
Yeah, agreed. I remember the seniors moment. It's just come back. Temperature for laundry. 70% or greater, or what's your advice
We
for laundry?
recommend, and the CDC says that laundry, you don't have to worry, like it's different if it's got blood, right? If it's, because you treat anything with blood, you use bleach along with your typical laundry detergent. But as long as you're using laundry detergent and you're washing your sheets and laundry and massage linens in hot water, and you're drying them with heat, that's all you need to do. The thing to be careful of, though, is the CDC says that if you shake laundry, you can disperse contaminated droplets into the air. So wear a face mask when you handle soiled laundry, and immediately after loading it into the washing machine and getting the washing machine started, wipe down those surfaces and go decontaminate your hands either with an alcohol-based hand sanitizer or by washing your hands with soap.
Yeah. Oops, just a little break. Yeah, soap and bubbles. Lots and lots of bubbles.
Lots of friction.
Yeah.
Lots of lather.
Yeah, because that's the thing. I've been watching people non-lathering, washing and not thinking about what the process is. And the process, to my understanding, is that the bubbles, the lather is actually what's breaking down exploding the viral body, not just running it underwater.
Which just spreads it then all over the surface of your hands. Like you literally have to have soap and use friction to remove pathogens from your hands.
Yeah.
But that's any pathogen. That's not just COVID.
Yeah, no, exactly. That is exactly right. And, that was the interesting thing. One of my patients 2 days ago said that this time last year and the year before, because it's flu season in Australia right now, flu season in Australia, 38,000 would be around about the normal caseload that we would see of actual diagnosed, like swab-based flu. Currently, we're at 73.
Oh, wow.
Not 73,000, 73 swab cases of flu.
And that's because people are socially distancing. So I haven't had a cold this year.
Yeah.
I usually always get a spring cold, and I haven't had a cold this year. And I try to get it so that I keep my immune system working, but I haven't gotten any, knock on wood.
No, I haven't seen anybody that I know that would normally have a cold or a flu by now. So
it's crazy.
I know.
It works. That social distancing stuff works.
It's incredible. So I want people to know that I'm going to be posting information up here for them so that they can get in like really good quality information and be able to download this and to go through it, and they can navigate. They can just push buttons so that they can find spots that interest them versus having to flick through it from A through to Z, or Z as you guys say it over there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes. So, and one thing I should point out is it's not actually a download. It doesn't work like an app. It's a web-based learning platform. So you can't download it. You can't print it. It all happens online.
Which is perfect.
People get a little confused about that. So
if I get onto it and I can like come in and log in, and I start and I log out. I can log in and out a number of times without having to start again.
And there's an option where you mark what you've read complete, and then as long as you're marking what you've done complete, it will track your progress through the textbook and tell you exactly where you're at in the textbook.
Yeah, no, that's
if
great.
You wanted to read it cover to cover, not cover to cover. Web page to web page.
Yeah. No, I use LearnDash as a learning platform for my online courses, so you're kind of familiar. And I'm going to pick your brain about how to maybe flash it up and make it more interesting, because therapists out there, this is their opportunity to do lots more online learning, because it's going to be really difficult for people to get into face-to-face courses now. So it's about therapists. You might be a presenter that's listening to this down the track and think, how am I going to tweak my stuff, pimp my stuff so that it's a lot more user-friendly for therapists out there?
Well, I think LearnDash is a great platform. That's actually what we're using, but we've done a whole bunch of customization. So we have a unique, we sort of have unique elements that aren't part of the typical LearnDash program that we've added in. And when they don't work, it's a real pain in the butt. Or whenever LearnDash does an upgrade, it's really a problem. So, and they just did one recently, and it was like, why is that not working? So it's a great program though, because it does partner well with lots of different things. So you can use H5P or Articulate. So if you're really into online learning, that's a great platform to start with. I think I really love that platform.
Great, thank you.
We are definitely pushing it as far as it can go, and sometimes it says no, but for the most part, it's evolved and been able to handle what we're asking it to do. So that's cool.
Wow, thank you. Look, I'm going to sign off soon, but I've been asking every person that I speak with, I'm trying to reword this because we're not talking about massage therapists, we're talking about viral. But I would normally say, you at your age now, what would you tell the younger Anne when she first got into the industry? So maybe it's this educational Anne. What would she tell the girl who first wrote the first chapter for Lippincott or whatever, you know?
I think I would tell her that all the things you think you know are true about you are true. Trust them, go forward, do it. Just do it. Don't worry about it. Just follow it. It's that thread that's pulling you forward, that little tug at your heart. That's the right path to follow. That's what I would tell her.
That's beautiful. That's beautifully said.
She would still take a lot of detours. Oh, let's go this way. Let's go this way. But we'll get there eventually.
Yeah, that's delightful information because it's so true for everybody. Trust your heart and trust your gut. Yeah. Don't listen to your head.
No, it's wrong.
Almost always is it wrong.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah. And it's been such a pleasure having a chat with you today. And I know this is going to give so much validation to therapists, not only in Australia, but also all over the globe, helping them stay safe.
Thank you. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to visit Australia. I love it.
A pity I don't have like a kangaroos or something I can't put a
on your shoulder. Yeah. That would really impress me. Yeah. I'd be very, very impressed.
Next time. No, I've got a crab up here. That's about it. All right. Thanks again, Anne. And
all right. Have a good day and take care. Stay safe.
Bye.
Bye.